time to rise and shine. I'm Shelby Barrett, the STONED for the STONED Roadie Show, and it's time to wake and bake with Craig Reed and Griff Martin.
The STONED Roadie Show, podcast number 153. Action. Alrighty then, and good morning, fellow Earthlings. Looky here, looky here. It's Monday morning, April the 8th, and it's another Wake and Bake Morning Buzz number 36. And it's Eclipse Day here in Northeast Ohio. I guess we get to see it maybe if the clouds ain't in the way today. But what else we got going on this morning, Griff?
Well, just we got a lot of good feedback on the Steve Lawler interview that we had, and appreciate him visiting. And we got some comments we'll go over. But first, we talk about you had a conversation with one of your ex-wives or something that you kind of did a little critique on us, and maybe will help us out with our subscriptions, huh?
Yeah, I got some good advice from one of my ex-wives, wife number 2. Yeah, I still talk to a couple of them. Remember the second one and the last one, I talk to them every once in a while. But yeah, I called her, and last night she called me back, and today, and tell me she's been catching up on the STONED Roadie show, and she kind of happened to mention that we mentioned donations a lot. And I went, do you think we talk about donations a lot? And she goes, yeah, kind of. And I kind of started thinking about it. And I goes, wow, we got to get away from that, because I think maybe that's the reason we're not getting subscribers like maybe we should be, because people are getting us confused. They think we're some kind of a donation podcast. And yeah, I never wanted to be involved with any kind of donations. When we started this, we just wanted to do kind of question and answer, because I didn't want to write a book. And Griff said, I'll just ask you questions and then you can just answer them. And that's how we started this. And then people started wanting to donate money to the survivors, and I kept turning them down. And then it happens so often. I goes, man, I've started feeling bad. I went, those people are wanting to donate money for those people need money. I should take it. So we started taking money, and I guess it just kind of got a little bit crazier than we intended. But we appreciate the donations. But we used to start off by talking about donations right off the bat, and I guess we got this morning thing going on, and when you're on your way to work, you don't want to turn us on and have us talking about donations right off the bat. So we'll kind of try to critique that toward the end of the show. But if you want to be gracious enough to send money for the forgotten survivors, we for sure want to mention, but we got to get away from this donation kind of image we're getting. We don't want to go there. I think it's hurting our subscriptions, because everybody's got their doggone handout wanting money, and we never ever ask anybody for donations. If we did, we didn't mean to. It's always been, if you feel like donating, that's something you can do if you want to, but we never intended on this to be a donation, thing. But, then we started getting people to send us in to auction off, and, so we've kind of gotten away from our skin formation, but we'll try to get back into it. I'm trying to get all this drawing stuff together. My gosh, everybody that I'm getting to the point, if you sent me a something in my post office box, you're involved, you're into the drawing, because I figured if you sent something and you wrote me a 2-page letter, you just kind of forgot to say, hey, I want to be in the drawing. So if you sent something to my P.O. box here in the next last couple weeks, you're in the drawing. So
you mean the email, Craig?
The email, yeah. At the email, yeah. No. At the email, I got those. All of those are critiqued. I got those are order. those were easiest. The ones with the
Okay.
email. I mean, my post office box. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah,
Oh,
blah.
you got people sending the post office box
Yeah, they
too?
sent me stuff to the post office box, and it was letters. And they'd write me a 2-page letter, and they never did say whether they wanted it into they'd send money and then this and that and the other thing. But, if you sent money or sent a letter or sent a thank you or whatever, I'm just going to automatically, put you into the drawing. And if you said you and your wife, I went ahead and added you both, gave you a double option. I don't know. I'm trying to do this as fair as possible, but it's been a little bit difficult trying to do it. So I just said heck with it. I'm just gonna if you send in something, I'm just gonna automatically add you in the contest. I've read so many letters and thank yous and people saying how wonderful and great we are and everything, and it's kind of funny, but yeah, we appreciate it. But yeah, so what else is going on, Griff?
Well, I was going to ask you, are you ready for that eclipse? Because, I mean,
Oh God, it's supposed to be a little bit. Today it was kind of a not cloudy day, but I saw in the news it said that it's kind of there's a chance it might not be cloudy tomorrow. I don't know. It's opening day, I think, for the Cleveland Indians. So, it's not the Cleveland Indians anymore. It's the Guardians now that we're politically correct, I guess.
oh, yeah, yeah. You don't want to say
Yeah.
anything about an
Yeah,
Indian.
everybody always calls them and still calls them the tribe and the Indians. It's funny. Nobody calls them the Guardians.
Yeah, you can't have an Indian on butter, and you can't have an Aunt
Oh,
Jemima
God.
made on the syrup bottle. And yeah, but you can have all you want, like Cracker Barrel, making fun of the white folk. That's okay. But I mean, I don't bother me. Maybe because I'm white. It's okay to be white.
Yeah, it's okay to be white. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm a cracker. But yeah, we got a lot of comments that we can go over, and then at the end of the podcast, I can throw something on there like an interview with a first responder to the airplane crash. I think I've got a few more of those that I can add on. I haven't looked at who's next, but those are always good to put up there if you're not squeamish about the airplane crash. And we had a lot of good feedback about Steve Lawler, and he certainly went over the whole airplane crash, his version of what happened, which was pretty good.
Yeah, it's
And
always so good to get somebody else's perspective, especially, like you said, he wasn't like really frightened, and he wasn't watching life flash in front of his eyes, so he had more of a clear perspective of it. But yeah, I never knew who Jim Brace was. I never knew who that guy was, and here he turned out to be the sound guy for Willie for forever and ever and ever. But yeah, he doesn't get involved in any type of this stuff at all. But yeah, it's good that he straightened me out about who Jim Brace was. I never knew who he was, and here he turned out to be Willie's sound man all these years. I never knew who he was.
yeah, and Steve Lawler's no lightweight, man. That guy,
Oh
he's
man.
yeah, he's a big deal in the music industry, so he
Oh
knows
God, yeah.
everybody, and that was nice of him to come on and people associate him now with the Stone Roadie show, and he's not embarrassed. So that's nice of him.
You made me laugh when you asking me. You're at the point of your life now. You can kind of pick and choose. He goes, it's been that way for quite a while.
Yeah.
That cracked me up. Yeah, he's been a picker and chooser for a while.
Yeah, when you're working with a company and you get a lot of seniority, then you kind of like, I mean, when I was out there for 30 years, after about the 20-year mark, where I used to work at this Kennedy Space Center, you can kind of get away with things other people can't get away with. The newbies coming in, if they say certain things, they might get in trouble. But if you've been there a while, you can kind of get away with it. I think that's
Yeah,
like that.
that Clearlight, Ron's company kind of broke off into different directions. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and he knew what happened to all those companies and who's doing what now, and he knows the whole inside of the music business probably better than anybody I've ever talked to.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and I'm gonna Steve, if you're listening, man, I'm gonna put this in the mail to you tomorrow, and maybe Dave the Disciple can send me a new one. But Dave's sending me some stuff uh, in the mail here pretty soon. I appreciate Dave the Disciple for all he does. That guy, he works pretty hard for the podcast, and we like to thank him for everything he does. I mean, that guy, man, he must do a big business, with that printing. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, that stuff, isn't cheap. Whenever you like, if you go somewhere and order something, and we're getting all this stuff free. So that's nice of him. And that shipping, that's not cheap.
Oh,
So
he sent me about 10 lighters, Bic lighters the other day with all kind of the
yeah, me
Stone
too.
Roadie and the world's most famous Roadie and all kind of stuff on them. It was funny.
And he prints up a lot of advertisements for us, and he goes to events and leaves them, at bars and concerts and things, and he works hard for us. I was listening to a live with Artemis Pyle this morning. I got up kind of early, and he did a Facebook Live this morning. It was pretty interesting. Those guys were on their way uh, down to South Florida. I guess that's where Pepper got married, and he said, "Yeah, I was just down here not that long ago when my daughter got married, and they were talking about some stuff, and he was actually talking about." I think it was MCA when they sent the photographer out, and they were shooting some film, and they asked him to go take a walk, and that's when Billy Powell shot the bird. Were you there for that, Craig?
Uh,
When they did I guess it was what was it, the Nothing Fancy album?
yeah, when they did the photo shoot out there. Yeah, I was out there. I was I wasn't like following them along. I was fishing and doing all kinds of stuff. I was just piddling around. They were
Yeah,
out
it was
there.
pretty
I really
interesting.
wasn't. Didn't get involved with it. I was out there, but I
He
didn't.
said they must have took like 100 pictures, and then one picture, Billy Powell shoots a bird, and the
Yeah.
photographer said, "I can guarantee you that's not going to be the picture." Right. And then and then it turned out to be the picture. And then
Oh yeah,
Billy,
Billy's mother was not real happy with
no,
that.
his grandmother.
Oh, his grandmother was it?
Yeah, Billy said, "Well, there goes my grandmother's not going to talk to me now." Artemis is pretty slick talker, man. He's a good
Oh yeah,
interviewer.
he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Artemis used to get up and be like the front when we would come out after an encore. He would come out and do the little talk before we did the encore. Yeah, yeah. He's got good front man. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely a good talker, and he's got a great memory and tells good stories, and
During the
that,
during the New Year's Eve thing, every time we did a New Year's Eve thing, Artemis was up there with a microphone like the master of ceremony, and he would ride it when we did the thing. Bill Graham had a thing hooked up where Artemis rode the airplane down from the middle of the building, rode the airplane down, rode an airplane down when it was the countdown, and rode it down to the stage and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Or
yeah,
yeah.
he's kind of like the spokesman of the band, I guess you'd say, because
Yeah, he was
he,
most recognizable out of all the Skinner guys. If he get up on the microphone with all that hair and that beard and no shirt, you immediately knew it was Artemis.
yeah, Yeah, he had those tube socks that went all the way up to his knees. They actually found, I think it was either one or two of those socks at the airplane crash site.
Oh,
And
those were in style back then, though.
oh, I remember I used to wear them when we played basketball. That's what we wore in basketball, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was now you would look like an idiot wearing which now he wears the boots, you know, and the khaki pants and the cowboy hat. That's his style. But they're yeah, I guess they're touring in Florida, and I think they're going to Largo sometime this week, which is not that far from me. I'm going to look at their schedule, and if it's not that far, I might take a ride over there with my camera and see if I can't aggravate him a little bit and tell him that I'm with the Craig Reed show and see if that don't get him to fly off the handle about the funeral brochure. It'll be interesting. Interesting. Well, we can go into these comments and questions here, Craig. I got quite a few of them. And then at the end of the jibber jabber, we'll throw up a first responder interview there that came from Kent Griffith and Michael O'Hara, which we're running out of those. Pretty soon they'll all be gone. And then I'll start digging through these CDs and see what else I got. There's all kinds of stuff that I can share, even music and things like that. But I guess when you were kind of hiding behind the "Sorry, I'm Stoned" sign, that helped as far as our
they didn't hit us for the
monetary
break into our monetization. Yeah. It's either that or the political talk. We didn't talk about politics on the last one either, so it might have been that. I don't know.
Yeah, so between the two, we can test it out and see what happens. But
people thought it was funny every time I held up that "Sorry, I'm Stoned" sign. They knowed what I was doing.
But if you drink a beer, I thought that was Leon behind you up on your desk. I didn't even know that wasn't if he would have been
that's actually see, I'm behind it. See, it's an old
okay.
Yeah, but I just cover myself up and it looks like Leon is behind me.
Yeah, so a lot of good comments about Steve Lawler. We appreciate him coming on. It's nice to have a guy like him that's supporting the Stone Roadie podcast, and we appreciate him. As one person says, lighters up high for Steve Lawler, encore, thanks for coming on. And that's how we feel about it. Then we have here one guy says he remembers making lights with coffee cans and gel paper. I guess when you guys were talking about, expensive lighting. And he says times have changed with all the corporate greed, and he said he's glad he's retired. So I guess this guy was a roadie.
Yeah.
You really made them out of coffee cans?
Oh yeah, and put a light,
Really?
put a gel, take a coffee can, put a light in there, and put a gel on it.
What do you mean by a gel? What is that?
Colored gel. There's
I see.
either
Okay.
red or blue or a yellow or a magenta.
Yeah. What do? Do you kind of like turn it with your hand or something?
You just turned it on and it made that's all you had back in those days. Yeah, you had a can and it had one color in it, and that's all you had. And these days every light, you can change to a different color. They're all different, all multiple colors, but back in them days it was just like a coffee can with a piece of film on it, red or blue or yellow or purple.
I guess Ron Eckerman saw the need for that. He probably said, "Man, these guys have coffee cans with lights in them. I bet you I could come up with a company and I could make a lot of money."
They're called par cans is what they're called, and then they got a little thing on them where you can hook them to a truss.
When I was at the Oliver Anthony concert, they invited me backstage there, and I got to see a lot of that lighting. And yeah, man, that stuff's expensive.
Oh
That
yeah, there ain't
lighting.
no par cans up there anymore. Each one of those lights up there now are thousands of dollars. Yeah,
Yeah, there. I
just
mean,
one,
it's
just one of those panels for the screen in the back. Just one of those panels is like thousands of dollars. There's like hundreds of those panels, and each one of them's like a couple $1,000 at least. It's crazy.
didn't you say that somewhere you guys were somebody stole a light and it was like about 10 grand or something?
Oh, some of those lights are like 50 grand for a light. Some of them are, yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah. 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 It's not
Yeah, it's
unusual for a light to be $5,000. Yeah.
there's always somebody stealing something, a guitar or a light. And I can't tell you all the interviews I
Oh
watch. And
God, yeah. In Europe and some of them small places like that, yeah, there's gangs, man. Yeah, and if you're not watching, those cases will go rolling right down the street, man. Yeah, they'll have it all hooked. Yeah, you gotta keep your eye on them. Yeah, they'll roll them right down the street.
I remember a long time ago, there was a guy. He was just at a little coffee house, and he was taking a break, and he came back, and his guitar was gone. He could somebody stole his guitar, and
Oh
he
yeah,
couldn't. Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, wow. And then we were all out looking, but somebody snagged it. Poor guy. Yeah. So somebody's always you got to watch everything, man. Right here, a guy asked, and some of these questions Craig may not know. So if you know and Craig doesn't or I don't, then comment in the comments below, and then we'll take a look at them, and that'll help us out. But somebody here asked, did Ronnie have property in Tennessee? Gene Odom talked about it on his video. You know of Ronnie owning
I
property?
I was unaware of any property Ronnie had in Tennessee. No, I was not aware of
Huh.
anything.
This next question is kind of a cool question because I checked it out. The song Things Going On, the pronounced album, someone at the beginning of the song whispers, "Gotcha," or something like that. Do you know anything about that, Craig? Have you heard that?
No.
Yeah, it's like real faint, but you do hear it. You hear something like "Gotcha," and then the song starts. I mean,
No.
these Skinner fans, they pick that stuff to death. They go in there, and he was just wondering if you knew about that, and what was it exactly they said, and who was it that said it?
No, things going on. That was the first album, right?
Uh, the pronounced album, yeah,
Yeah,
pronounced.
pronounced. Yeah, I wasn't there for pronounced, so I wasn't in the
Yeah,
studio.
okay, well that makes sense. But yeah, any of you Skinnerd fans, go listen to that, and if anybody has the answer to that one, that would be kind of cool. Um, this is kind of like what they do on fan sites, the fan sites. That's what's good about fan sites. People they get these threads going, but the only problem with that is people start arguing, and then next thing you know, there's a big argument going on, and people are cussing each other. Let me see what we got here. Oh yeah, this one guy said that I believe it was a guy says that Artie once said that they were one of the top touring bands in the world, and they had a jet that looked like it belonged to the Clampets. Not a jet, a plane. The plane looked like it belonged to
Oh
the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Clampets.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a trashy plane, right? I mean, for a top band like Lynyrd Skynyrd to be flying around in. Um,
You know what? It wasn't a bad plane. It
Well, if
was.
you have fuel in it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was actually a really nice, I mean, safe plane back in the day. It was actually a really safe plane. I mean, even if it ran out of fuel, as long as you weren't over trees or water, you could glide it in. But luckily we were over trees.
But the air conditioner didn't work too good, huh?
Well, I'm not sure what happened to that. Just that one time, the air conditioner was failed.
No,
But
it's just one time. I remember, yeah, in your video, in your movies, you guys were landed on the tarmac out there with your shirts off because the air conditioner
but
wasn't working.
air conditioning something that could happen in a brand new plane.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of parts on planes and they break, and if you don't do maintenance, I mean, that's one of those things that, you can't pull over on the side of the road and check it out. You're up in the air. Um, but yeah, so it's I guess when they were wanting to fix that engine, that one engine, they were going to wait and fix it when they got to the gig, but I guess maybe it was burning a little bit too much fuel. And I remember Steve Lawler was telling me that one of the pilots forgot his license, and when he had to go back. I don't think he talked about that on there. I meant to ask him, but he told me that one of the pilots forgot his license, and he had to go back and get his license. So uh, then somebody says, talk about the time the tour bus rolled down the hill in Connecticut and in 1974 and went through the bank wall.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that
Yeah,
before.
we've
Yeah,
talked about that before.
yeah. The
Uh,
the brake come loose and just coasted down over the hill. Went through the bank. The thing in the paper was rock band bus Brock's Bank or something. But it was something like that. Yeah.
which is kind of weird because usually if power fails on like a bus or a semi or whatever, you have to have power to release the brakes and they'll automatically
Yeah.
set.
That's
So I don't
yeah.
know what happened with that.
Yeah.
Kind of
I don't
weird.
know.
What happened later though? Did they kind of like did it cause a lot of damage and was
It
there a
kind of
big
went.
hoopla over it?
I um I don't know.
Were you were you were you
It didn't
around
hurt
then?
the bus much.
No.
Yeah, busted the windshield out or something, I think. I don't know. God, I don't remember. That was a long time ago. There was stuff, you know what? There was stuff like that happened all the time. It wasn't nothing unusual. That was just a light day. Yeah. Hey, the bus went through the bank. Hey, cool, man. Anything else? It was crazy back then.
Yeah, those buses are always breaking down and stuff too. They get overheated, and I remember seeing some video post. It was tribute band when I think Lacey Van Zant was on the bus, and the bus broke down on the side of the road, and you guys were waiting on a
Oh yeah,
a
yeah.
mechanic to come, and Artimus was running around with his shirt off everywhere. That's another thing he was talking about this morning when he was live. He says, "I don't take my shirt off anymore. I used to, I used to go around all the time with my shirt off, but I don't take it off anymore."
Yeah. I
Here's a
noticed
good
that.
question here, Craig, that I don't think anybody's ever asked, which you're probably going to say, "Hell, I don't remember," but but maybe you do. Uh, Craig, can you remember your last conversations with Ronnie, Steve, Cassie, and Dean?
No, it was well. probably the night before in the hotel there, and we were all really drunk, and I don't remember that night. We got on the plane. We got on the plane. I was still drunk.
Yeah, it was
From
just
the night before, we all were. We partied the night before. We pissed off the limo drivers. They didn't show up. Yeah, we had to get up and didn't have a ride to the airport. And we had to get taxis to
yeah, I remember Gene
out
telling
there.
me he had to figure out how to get you guys to the airport, and he was
Oh,
calling
yeah.
everybody in town.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to help because you guys had such a bad name for tearing shit up.
Yeah, we pissed off the limo drivers from the night before. Those little towns like that, they get limos. It was usually like the funeral home or whatever. Whatever we did, they didn't appreciate it. So they didn't show up to take us to the airport.
So, I mean, you could have rode in a taxi to the airport with Dean or Steve. You just don't remember what.
I don't remember. I probably rode to the airport. No, Dean probably went to over early to the airplane to take care of everybody. I stayed behind and made sure everybody got there. Dean was probably there.
You don't remember the last thing that you talked to Ronnie about, though?
The last thing I remember was he asked me if I was afraid to fly on the plane, and I said, "No, Ronnie, I'm not afraid of anything." That's all I remember. Yeah, about that. That's about the last thing I remember. Him saying, "Ask me if I was afraid to." He asked me if I was afraid to fly in the plane, and I'm Ronnie. You know me, I'm not afraid of nothing. But I wasn't, because that was a safe plane as long as it had gas in it.
Yeah. Was that before you got on the plane or after you got
Oh, that
on
was
the
the
plane?
day before, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that same day. It was the day before. It might have been that same day. I don't know. No, it couldn't have been the same day. Because I pulled up in the taxi and just got right on the plane, so it wasn't the same day. It must have been the day before.
Then somebody asks, Craig, you mentioned Alan liked Foreigner, and at the time of the Double Vision
You liked
album.
Lou Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this
Singer.
person asked, did he like the song? Do you know if he liked the song Head Knocker?
I think, yeah, you're not shy, you get around. Yeah. He liked that one.
Oh, that's not the Head Knocker song, I don't think.
You're not shy, you
The Head Knocker songs. Head Knocker.
Head knocker. Yeah.
Yeah, you like that one?
That's it.
Is it? Okay,
That's
maybe
part
I'm
of that.
mixed
You're
up.
not shy. You get around. Yeah. Don't want to.
No, that's urgent. That's urgent.
Oh,
Urgent.
that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. I'm wrong.
Might have been something you smoked or something, correct?
Could have been. Yeah.
Then we got.
He liked all those. He liked Lou Graham. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Lou Graham. He was a great singer, man. That guy had some range, and I just hear he got screwed a lot. At a percent of payment on the songs. They were always bickering about who gets the most money for the songs, and he was always on the short end of the stick, from what I remember. But I'm sure he's still a multi-millionaire, I'd imagine. But I don't think he's going to be touring much anymore. As a matter of fact, I think Steve told me that his health is not doing very well. I think he still talks to him from time to time. Then there's this one lady, her last name, I think the last name's Lynn, Len, and this was on the from the podcast before last, and she sent me a message with some questions, and they were some about 4 or 5 questions here, and I told her I would go over them with the STONED Roadie here. And let's see. Chuck Flower in Ron Eckerman's book. He described him as kind of like a mean drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like with a Hitler
Chuck
complex.
was real. Yeah, Chuck kind of had a short person complex or
Yeah,
whatever.
he was short, real short.
Yeah, Chuck was real quiet, but when he got mean, when he got drunk, oh, he tried to fight King Kong, man. Oh yeah, he turned. Yeah, alcohol completely changed Chuck.
Now, was he the guy who shot himself?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the rifle that Ronnie gave him.
Yeah.
And he was the guy that got fired for wanting more money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you took both the jobs, and that's probably what you were doing.
Raymond and Chuck. Yeah, Chuck kept wanting. Chuck wanted triple what we were making, and Ronnie offered him like up to like $15. I swear it was like $15 and of triple what we were making. And Chuck said another $15 and you got a deal. And Ronnie said, "F you, get the hell out of here." And then he said, "Anybody else?" And Raymond said, "Well, I kind of, just told Chuck that, we'd stick together." And he said, "Well, you get out of here too then. Anybody else?" And it was, but by that time it was just me and Kevin standing there. And Kevin and Ronnie said, "Well, I know you know how to do drums. Can you do guitars too?" And I goes, "Yeah, I think I can." So he said, "Well, you do guitars and you do drums and you do guitars both. And I'll give Chuck Chuck the raise he wanted. And since he's not here, I'll give it to you. And I'll give Raymond the raise he wanted. Since he's not here, I'll give it to you. And I'll give you the same raise." And so I was making 9 times what I normally made.
Well, see, Ronnie was fair. You're just trying to gouge him, You can't gouge the guy. I mean,
That was crazy. And then I got a tour bonus.
And all it did was benefit you.
Oh, that was crazy. It was rough, but I did it. Me and Kevin.
Do you remember a guy named John Butler?
Oh yeah.
Because she's asking about John Butler, and was he a shady guy?
Kinda, yeah. He was a little shady. Yeah.
Who was he? What did he do?
He was kind of like security, and he became like road manager, and he's the one that Ronnie busted the beer bottle over John Butler's head when he cut Gary's hands up. Yeah.
That's how he broke the beer bottle over John Butler's head.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in there, and they were going at it, and I was out in the hallway, and all of a sudden, man, the shit hit the fan, and I went in there, and John's holding his head, and Gary's holding his hands. Yeah, and Ronnie busted that bottle over John's head and cut Gary's hands all up with it.
I tell you what, a bottle of the head. I remember when I was in junior high, this guy at the bus stop threw a Coke bottle straight up in the air, and it came down and landed on this guy's head. It didn't break, but it landed on his head and about knocked that guy out.
Yeah, they were thick.
Yeah. Oh man, it was like one of those 1 pint, not a
Coke bottles.
No,
thick, yeah.
12 ounce, I think it was. Yeah. And man, that'll kill you. But busted it over his head, huh? Didn't hurt him?
He was holding his head, yeah.
Ronnie was
did hit him right at the end. If you hit him in the middle, if you hit somebody in the middle, it'll bust the bottle. But if you hit him on the end with
right. Oh, the end. Yeah, the end is lethal.
Yeah.
It'll kill you, man. If you hit somebody in the temple with a with a bottle.
Apparently, Ronnie knew where to hit him so the bottle would break.
Yeah.
I don't think it was his first time.
Yeah, when it came to fighting and beating people up, Ronnie had it down to a
I
science.
think he knew where to hit him to bust it over their head.
That's
Yeah.
what Steve Lawler was saying. He said, "Man," he goes, "Ronnie was just mean as hell." He
Oh
says,
yeah.
"I wouldn't want to fight the guy." He goes, "He
No,
just,
no, uh-uh. He
yeah, I
wasn't
mean,
that great of a boxer. He was just mean. Yeah, if he got a hold of you with his teeth, he owned you, man.
yeah, he wouldn't stop."
Oh
And
no.
probably,
Oh.
I mean, there's always somebody badder than than the other guy, the next guy. But those guys that get up, and you pretty much beat them down, and then you let them up, and then they come at you again. Now you got a problem, and then they're the next day waiting for you, and they're going to fight you until they win. Uh, then you got to become friends with them, so they'll leave you alone. Oh well. Okay, so then we're on to this other question here. What did Alan Walden do to inspire Cry for the Bad Man?
He
Um,
stole the money. Yeah,
yeah. Did he
yeah.
later regret the song?
I don't remember. I remember Alan was standing up on the side of the stage and they played the song for him. I remember that. It was
It's
in
a
a
great
theater.
song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. He smiled during the whole song. I was standing
you
right.
saw that? You got to see
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah. I was standing right there with him when he played. Alan was knew it was for the song was for him. He said, "Ronnie told him this is for Alan Wall." Yeah.
What did you hear it before that, or was it the
Oh
first
yeah,
time
yeah,
you heard
yeah,
it?
yeah. The song was already written and recorded and everything. And Alan Wall, he'd never heard it, but yeah, they played it for him live. Yeah.
What was he acting like afterwards? Was he going around going, "Oh
He
shit,"
laughed about it. He laughed
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
I saw Johnny Van Zant, the Skynyrd guys. They were doing so somewhere. They were doing, I guess it was a promotion for the Hell House whiskey, and they were playing acoustic, and they did about 4 or 5 songs. And the first song they came out with was a song Ronnie wrote about you, and
What's
and
your
I was like,
name? Yeah.
"Yeah, what's your name?" And I was like, "No, that's a good song to start off with." And I wonder if Johnny, whenever he sings that, does he think about Craig Reed? I'm thinking he probably everybody that knows why that song was written. I mean, you heard Gary say, he talked about it in an interview. Yeah, that song was about Craig Reed. That was where Ronnie got the inspiration. Um, yeah, and then the next question here, when Chuck and Ronnie were in jail and Chuck didn't change Ed's strings, is that why Ronnie smashed the lamp and held it to Ed's throat in the hotel?
Who knows why Ronnie did anything? He did.
Is that what he
Yeah.
did, though? He broke the lamp in the hotel room. That's what Ed said. And
I don't, I wasn't there, so it was, it's, I've only heard of tales about that. I wasn't exactly
you
there.
were across the hall in the room across the hall, right?
I was in the room across the hall from Ed's room, but where all that happened, I don't remember.
I think that happened in Ed's room. That's when he said you don't have a
There
hair
was
on the
all
pimple
kind
of
of
the.
There was all kind of stuff going on that night. I remember Ronnie out there outside of Ed's door beating on his door, and Ed wouldn't answer the door, and it was, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think Ed had enough at that point in time
Yeah,
because
I guess that was after that you're talking about, whatever that happened. I guess Ed went to his room and Ronnie was still after him and was beating on his door. That's all I remember about it.
leading up to that, though, were they getting along like not very well even before the string thing, or was that kind of like what was the
I
straw that broke the camel's back?
I was the drum roadie back then, so I wasn't real, I was not real close to the tuning room, that area, because I was out with the drums. So I
I
wasn't that.
imagine there's so much shit always going on. People, Ronnie getting pissed off at somebody about something. It's kind of hard to, keep things straight,
Yeah.
especially that long ago. But yeah, I think there's probably more information that you can get out of Ed King's interviews because he told the whole story about that. And I remember hearing that interview, and that's when he said um, that he didn't have a pimple on the ass of Alan Collins' guitar playing, and Ed King was like, "Well, you might be right about that, but yeah, that was what sent Ed down the road there." Okay, here's the last question, and it was told that Ronnie had a book of poems under his bed, and when he heard his favorite boxer do his rhymes, which was Cassius Clay, he felt like he could bring the poems out. You know anything about that?
No, no,
That's a Gene Odom story. That's got Gene Odom written all over it, I think, because Gene
no.
told me some stuff about Ronnie used to write poems and he wouldn't show them to anybody. But I did, and I don't remember the Cassius Clay part of that story. I've got a lot of time around Gene Odom, and I've heard so many stories. Gene, man, he's got a million of them, and I really ought to be writing all that down because it's just hard to keep them all straight. But Gene's got a lot of great stories. I need to get with Gene. I think he's going to be going over to Paul Connolly's house here in the next week or so, and I'm going to go over there and have a visit with him, see how he's doing. But I think he's heading up to the monument here next week or so. I think Mark Frank's going to be going up there. I don't know what they're doing there, but yeah. So anyway, Craig, that's the end of the questions. I don't know if you wanted to go over any donations or anything that you want to mention, anybody who sent money in, or if you have any updates on the contest or what you need to do now.
Oh God. I I had I had to.
Somebody out there in your yard stealing something.
I don't know. Oh. I had it here. I can't find it. Yeah, I had a couple of donations here, but yeah, I don't want to get into any donations today.
Okay, well, we'll as we get
Um,
them and somebody sends them in, we just like to mention the name. But
well, actually, Angela, yeah, Angela, I just don't have the piece of paper. I don't need the piece of paper. Our old friend Angela Lynyrd, she said that she hadn't heard anybody donate anything to Leslie, so she wanted to donate $200 to Leslie, so she donated $200 to Leslie, and Angela's already donated like about $830, I think, toward on this portion of the donations, and then Lisa bought Cross, Steve. Oh God, Cross.
we'll catch it on the
James
next.
Cross. James
James
Cross
Cross.
donated all those the songbook, and Lisa bought that for 250, and that goes toward the general fund, I believe. I'm not I don't remember right now, but anyways, yeah. But yeah, that's all I had. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much about donations, and Yeah.
All right. Well, we can wrap it up, and then I'll find something to put on the tail end to hear one of these interviews, audio interview, the Mike O'Hara interview, and that'll be a wrap.
All righty. Podcast number 153, the Stone Roadie Show. See you later, alligator, at the wild crocodile, and we're out of here. Cut.
Don't go anywhere. We got the interview coming up next.
Hello?
Yes, may I speak to Mr. Mike Wilson, please?
He's not here.
Okay, would he be in tonight sometime? My name is Michael O'Hara. I'm calling from Toronto, Canada. I'm a university student doing a thesis on the Lynyrd Skynyrd band.
Oh.
And I was just, actually, Mr. Hemphill gave me, Mr. Wilson. Stuart Hemphill?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave me, I guess your husband's name, and mentioned that I should talk to him also.
Okay. Hold on a minute.
Okay.
Now hold on. And you're from where?
Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, Canada. Okay, hold on. Mike! Just a minute. I think he's outside. Hold on.
Okay, thanks. Yes, honey.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Wilson.
Hey.
Yeah, my name is Michael O'Hara. I'm calling from Toronto, Canada.
Uh-huh.
I'm doing a thesis on the band Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Uh-huh.
And I've been talking to quite a few of the rescue crew and whatnot. And I just got through talking to Stuart Hemphill.
Uh-huh.
And he suggested I call you and, get some insight from actually what you did that night of the plane crash, of course.
I was working that afternoon, planting my pasture, and after we found the plane, I came back and got my tractor and went up there and before we'd have some lights, and I had my lights on the tractor, and just help. The plane was bent up so bad we had to take chains and kind of help dismember it before we could get them out.
This would be the pilot and co-pilot?
Yeah, the pilot and co-pilot.
Okay.
Whenever the plane, did you make it down this way, or are you just trying to find out what you can?
I'm trying to find out what I can. Hopefully in the summer I will be coming down just to kind of see, like I'm also a very big fan of the band. I'm not just, writing this because to do something. I'm writing it because I'm also a big fan of the band. And I hopefully this summer would like to very much come down and see actually for my very own eyes as to where it was and whatnot.
I think we can probably pretty well go in there too. See, it was on some company land, and they've been in there since then and clear cut this land and replanted them pine trees. The land's been sold since then. We can probably, I think I can probably find out, from the people that own it, and they can probably let us go in there about. I think I can take you pretty close to where it was.
Terrific.
But that it came in from when it crashed, it came in from kind of the northwest, and you can see where it started clipping the tops out of pine trees. Then whenever we found it, the plane itself was broke half into it. It was in kind of an L shape.
Okay.
The front part of it had twisted upside down, and the cab section was down. It was down toward the ground, and it had the pilot and co-pilot pinned in. And we took that tractor and pulled the front end off of it, where we could get them out. And then that night after they finally got there was a helicopter from the Coast Guard out in New Orleans up there for lights.
Mm-hmm.
And after it left, we kept that tractor up there that night to, for the lights. And then whenever the FAA people got down there, they told us that they made us turn that tractor and everything off because they scared, said it was a wonder we hadn't had some kind of explosion, but that thing didn't have a drop of fuel in it. It wasn't,
No, it had less than 1 quart of fuel in it.
I don't think, it didn't have, I reckon if it had had much, we would have had a jam, but it was the only thing we could do to try to get the people out, so it was after dark.
Right.
But it was in a bad place. It was down there. It'd been raining a lot, and you couldn't. Whenever they finally started moving it out, it was still so wet, and they had big 18-wheeler gravel trucks. I stayed up there the whole time up there and pulled them trucks in and out and everything.
Wow.
But I tell you what, I had a fine souvenir off that plane. I lost my house July the 2nd in a fire.
Oh yes.
But they had one jacket on that plane that they had. Some of them told me they had made it to if it met the approval of the band, it was going to be the band jackets.
Yes.
And I had that jacket, and it burned up in that house.
Oh.
Whenever the plane crashed, see, we had the National Guard up there, and it stayed up there the whole time we was there. And whenever you come down, you know, if you can get in touch with me, I can show you, you know, how it was. But I went over the next day, and it was a soft place in the ground, had a bill sticking out, and I pulled a bill out, and it was a $20 bill. That was the only money I saw up there.
So you didn't...
Like a lot of money got lost.
Yeah, apparently like $90,000.
But if it did, I didn't see it. I mean, that was the only... If it did, it left there that night sometime. It was a many person up there that night.
Right.
From New Orleans and Baton Rouge and Jackson, Mississippi, and they came there, you know, for the next few weeks from all over the United States. California and everywhere. I bet you just about every state came, you know, people from just about every state came down in there. But what I was telling you, it was a soft place in the ground, and we got to digging around in it. I reckon where the nose of that plane had hit, it was a place about, I'd say 4 or 5 feet wide, and about, it was a good 20 feet long, and about 4 feet deep. It had hit that ground, and it was just like sand. And it just covered back in just like quicksand.
Really?
And we dug in, we got digging down in there, and it was T-shirts and underclothes and, you know, the blue jeans thing that was still folded up down in that hole. And we took it all out, you know, as we stood there, and we took it out, and they put it in garbage bags that had, you know, deputy sheriff and everything, and everything like that was accounted for. They took it to the courthouse in Liberty to the be distributed back to the, you know, the members of the band or their parents or something like that. And after they released it, me and another fella had been up there the whole time, and where the front end of that plane hit, it had knocked over 2 or 3 big oak trees. And when they cut the trees off to move that plane out the stump, stood back up, and I had a piece of aluminum pipe about 6 or 8 feet long. I don't know what kind. It was a tubing off that plane of some kind. And we got out in that hole just jugging that pipe around, see if we could find anything, you know, around on the edge of them stumps. That's where that jacket was.
Right.
The jacket and a Nickelback camera that, I don't know who it was. It had a picture of Ronnie Van Zant in it, though. In the camera, you know, we had it developed. But all of it burned up in that house.
Could you just describe the jacket again, please? I'm writing this down here.
It was, kind of a, let me ask my wife what kind of material that was. Just a minute. I mean, what kind of material was that jacket was made out of? But it was some kind of slick, some kind of a silver metallic looking, you know, I don't know what it was. It was she said like to make the clothing that the astronauts wear.
Oh, okay.
It was a tough stuff. But down one sleeve, I think it was the right hand side, it had Lynyrd Skynyrd down the sleeve in black letters.
Huh.
And then the other one had on the left shoulder had a Confederate flag. And you know, like I said, they was saying what that thing would have been worth, and they got like that was the only one. If it met the approval of the band, they was going, you know, they was going to make them for the band jacket.
Right. Man.
We had every once in a while they'll come to Baton Rouge and have a concert. The new band, you know, the new group.
Yeah, they start their very first tour in '91 there again when they reformed. They
got his brother on it. Johnny, which one is it?
Johnny Van Zant singing, yeah.
Anyway, last year, anytime we came, they would, she could take I got his ID card, Ronnie Van Zant's ID card.
You got his ID card?
Huh?
You have his ID card?
My identification card.
Right.
You know, the backstage, you know, whatever that thing.
Backstage passes, yes. Okay.
Whenever I got up there, the next day when it got daylight, they were just scattered all over the ground. I had every one of them. And, you know, like I said, I'm 52, and I never had paid that much attention to Lynyrd Skynyrd. And the first song I knew they sang was that Sweet Home Alabama, and I liked it, you know.
Yeah.
And we got up there that night and got talking about it, and I said, now, which song they sing? And they said, well, the new one out now, Sweet Home Alabama. And I saw that stuff on the ground, and I had every one of them's ID card. Had his and Cassie Gaines and all of them, you know. And it was some people came up there, two men made out like they were some of them's parents. And they told me, said, if you don't mind, the little old machine and everything, it must have been in something, you know, that all of it fell right together. And I just picked it up and put it up over there, you know, and they said, well, if you don't mind, said, we'd like to take that. Said, made out like some of them was their kids, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, no, I don't mind. I said, you know, if y'all their parents, you know, just go ahead and take it. And I had his in my shirt pocket. I didn't know Ronnie Van Zant from the rest of them, you know.
Right.
And I just happened to, and I still have it. It was in my nightstand. It was the only thing that didn't burn out of that house.
Wow.
I didn't make like I was going to try to find out, you know, but they got like baseball cards and all that kind of stuff, you know. I said, this thing ought to be worth a lot of money. Looks to me like
It would be.
one of a, you know, I mean, this is original. It's one of a kind. I mean.
Well, not only that, it was his, and it was on his body or when he died, and, you know.
See, Ronnie Van Zant, now, the only thing, that boy got a leak behind his ear. He had a knot behind his, I forget now which ear it was, it seemed to me like it was his left ear. But it was a knot, about like a, you know, they got like if you get a hard lick behind your ear like that at a key. And he had a knot about like an egg behind his ear. He was still alive when we got there.
You actually saw the Ronnie Van Zant's body?
He walked off and was sitting up beside the plane. He wasn't on the plane. You know, a lot of them were still in there on the plane. Artimus Powell and the drummer and two more walked out.
Yeah, they walked to Johnny Mote's house.
To Johnny Mote's house. But now, if I'm not making a bad mistake, did Stewart say anything about Ronnie?
Pardon me?
Ronnie Van Zant. Did Hemphill say anything about Van Zant?
Yeah. He was dead. He was in the plane.
But now, when it was one that was out there a good piece from the thing that was sitting up beside a pine tree. I thought it was him.
Was his nose busted all over the one side of the face?
The only thing I saw on Ronnie Van Zant was that knot behind his ear. You know, like I said, it was so much going on up there that night. It was just like, man, I don't see how them people found out about in them woods like they did that fast.
Could he have been pulled out and like just sat like already been dead and
that might be what happened. 'Cause like I said, I was a few minutes getting there. You know, Stewart and them had got there before I did, and I came on that tractor. So they come got me and told me to bring that tractor. They knew they was going to have it to kind of pull that from the loop, you know, to get the captain and the co-pilot and the captain out.
Mm-hmm.
Now they could have very well put him out there by that tree. You know, we never have discussed it much. You know, we was up there that night and that next day or two, and you know, far as getting out and you know, discussing it much, we never happened. They could have very easily put him out there, you know. But when I saw him, he was lean. He was just like he had sat down. He was sitting up against a pine tree that had a sheet over him. I knew he had died.
Okay, then okay.
But that, you know, that might be what they probably put him out there then.
Yes,
But whenever that thing hit, it just sheared the seats off, and they was all up in there and still had the seat belts and everything on. They had to get in there and cut seat belts loose and everything else to get them out. But I think just three of them, he probably was still on, because I think just that three, it was Armageddon, Powell, and two boys, I forget their name, that had walked out to Johnny Mote's house.
Yes, and Johnny almost shot him.
Cause it scared him, you know. He didn't know who they were or anything.
Kind of scared the three of them getting shot at too, but
you know, they was pretty much in shock.
yeah. Oh, I would imagine, yes.
Well, I tell you what, I don't see how in the world any of them got out there.
It was that bad, was it?
It was bad. I mean, you're not accustomed to seeing something like that all the time. But,
No.
I mean, the plane broke half in two, you know, and the tail section was still sitting up, but the cab part was turned upside down.
Like I don't have any all I have picture-wise is the October 21st edition
Oh, I got
of the...
I don't think them pictures burnt. Let me see just a minute.
They don't really do justice.
Well, then, them pictures, we found them, didn't we? Them pictures didn't burn, did they? I think the only thing that didn't burn in my house was my bedroom. And I had a nightstand and had a 357 Magnum in it. And I told them boys after we saw it, save everything, just wet that nightstand down real good while I get my pistol out. And I think, we just got in this new house and everything's turned up. But I'm pretty sure I got some of them pictures.
Oh, really?
We took them from every angle,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure I got a bunch of pictures of the plane. I mean the wreck site. And it's been a lot of people come by, and I had a bunch of little knot-headed nephews that come by, and they want to take them and have them made, blowed up, and they never did send them back. But I think I can scratch up a good many of them. When you gonna try to make it down?
I'm hopefully trying to make it down in the summer, but it's hard to say with going to university, and I'm kind of strapped for money for like airfare to get to either Jackson or Baton Rouge, and then drive up or down depending on where I go.
Baton Rouge is a little bit closer, but I think the bigger planes come into Jackson.
Right, and not much for small planes after my favorite band died in one.
But I tell you what, really, you probably better off coming into Jackson because you can catch Interstate 55 and come straight down.
Okay.
It'd probably in the long run just as close to come into Jackson. It wouldn't be no trouble. You can hit Interstate 55 out of Jackson, and it comes out here within 6 miles of my house.
Okay.
We live on the South Galesburg Osaka exit, right before you get to the Louisiana line.
Okay.
I'll give you my phone number, and you make it down this way. You can call me, and I'll do what I can for you.
Okay. Actually, okay, sure.
The area code.
Okay.
Anywhere in here in Mississippi,
Okay.
But
Now, is it?
if you think you can make it down this summer, I'll try to get what I salvaged gathered back up, and where I can show you and everything. Just tell me what I started out telling you a while ago when I was asking her about that jacket. This past year, we went to the concert in Baton Rouge, and she took the jacket, and they told us that anytime y'all come, said bring that jacket and bring that ID card, and they said they'd let us in,
Mm-hmm.
free, because they knew I was. See, anytime they come in and were around, the people they knew that helped them on that crash,
Right.
they let you get in and you give you backstage passes and everything, you see. But now, they took some pictures of the jacket and everything last year. Oh, I forget now what outfit it was. Some TV outfit. They was having a thing with all different rock bands on it. I can't think of the name. Let me ask her. She don't want to. What was the name of that bunch that took all them pictures and named out last year for television? MTV.
MTV? Okay.
It was MTV, and she's got the name of the girl and the number and everything that took the pictures and everything of, of the jacket and all that stuff.
Wow.
But like I said, we can give you a lot of information if you do make it down this way.
I'd very much like to make it down now. Just a question of money, getting down to Jackson. But I was wondering if it's possible if you could make copies of the photos and.
I was gonna tell you, let me get me a pen and a pencil right quick.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll try to get that down. Some of the better ones anyway.
Or a picture. If you take a picture of Ronnie's ID card.
Okay.
I'll pay you gladly whatever it costs to get them printed, to get them reprinted, copied. I will pay you.
Okay.
Of course.
Let me get her in here with a pen and pencil right quick. We had you want me to take address and everything, send it in. We like some of the copies of some of them pictures and stuff. You get her pen and pencil right now. I had whenever they loaded the plane up on the 18-wheeler, and I was pulling them out of that truck, they had to pull them out, load it, and pull them back in empty. It was muddy and everything. There was a piece on that plane that had the dove and had that little flag thing on. I think it was
the free bird. Oh,
The
yeah.
thing was just dangling down.
Okay.
And I just twisted the sound to it and broke it off and brought it home with me. And whenever I was on the board of directors for the Dairymen Incorporated milk company we ship milk to,
Yes.
and we had gone to Louisville, Kentucky to a convention and had one of my cousins babysitting. And some boys from Alabama came by here wanting to find out, where the place was. They wanted, and a lot of people came by here and would go up there and look at it. And saw that thing under that house and asked her if they could have it. She told them, well, no, they couldn't have that. And she left that afternoon, went to their mom, and they came back by here and got that thing.
And they stole. It was the Freebird, was it? Off the plane?
It was a Freebird, huh?
Okay. See, a lot of people wondering where that went.
Well, that's where it was. I mean, it was just dangling there, and it was hanging off the side of that truck. And I knew good and well, with it leaving, it was going to fall off, So I just twisted it off, and like I said, I never did even really get to look at it because them boys come back out. They was boys from Alabama and got that thing. Let me let you give her her number and that, your name and everything right quick.
Okay. My name is Michael.
Okay.
Okay. My name is Mike.
One mic talking to another one.
Right. O'Hara. O-H-A-R-A.
Okay.
My address is.
One word or two?
That's one word.
Okay.
It's.
Okay.
Ontario. O-N-T-A-R-I-O. Canada.
Canada?
Yes, C-A-N-A-D-A.
Uh-huh.
And we have postal codes, not zip codes.
Okay.
Postal codes.
Give me that again. Okay. Okay. Mike O'Hara?
Correct.
Get it back to you.
Okay.
Ontario, Canada.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. And what are you wanting?
Reproductions, like copies of the pictures you might have, and if you could take a picture of Ronnie Van Zant's ID, I will, pay for whatever it costs and whatnot, and that would be great for my theses. That would just.
Oh, that you're doing a thesis on him?
Yeah, on the band itself, yes.
Okay.
And there are two gentlemen, very important gentlemen, I might add. They're not like, some who are writing books. They're very important gentlemen associated with either the band or the record label they were on at the time, writing books on the matter. And they would like either whoever I talk to, if it's possible, for me to give them their number, or for me to give like in this case you, their number.
Okay.
So if you don't want your number given out, that's fine. I can give you their phone numbers.
Okay, well, give me theirs.
Okay, one gentleman's name is Kent Griffith.
Kent, K-E-N-T?
Yes.
Griffin?
Griffith.
How you spell that?
G-R-I.
Uh-huh.
G-R-I-F-F-I-T-H.
Okay.
And his phone number.
Okay.
Or I guess I could give you his address too. Also, if you if you don't want to call.
Okay.
It's That's in Maitland, M-A-I-T-L-A-N-D.
What'd you say?
M-A-I-T-L-A-N-D. Maitland, Florida.
Okay. Is that? Okay.
And the other gentleman, I do not have an address for.
Okay.
His name is Ron O'Brien. His phone number is. Yes.
Okay.
Two of them are writing books about the band itself and, of course, the crash. And they would like, I guess they know I'm doing a thesis on the band, and they say anybody I talk to either, you know,
Yeah.
if they don't
I
want.
don't mind you giving them my phone number and, you know, an address.
Okay.
You want my address?
I have the phone. Yo, please, yes.
Okay. It's Osyka, O-S-Y-K-A.
O-S-Y-A-K-A.
No, O-S-Y-K-A.
Y-K-A. Okay.
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
And that's Mike Wilson.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And you do not mind if I give your phone number out to these two gentlemen?
Nah.
Okay. It would save you long distance if you want to call them, or
Yeah.
because they are writing a book, and
Yeah.
one of the big mysteries actually is where the Freebird went.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Well, see, we had it,
Right.
but it got stole from us. You know.
Yes.
But I don't know who they were. You know. But
Like nobody after the crash even. Like now we know where. Now they will know where it went.
yeah, yeah.
And maybe they can track down the boys from Alabama. I don't know.
Yeah. See, that direction, they'll be closer down there,
Yes.
you know. But now we've gone to, when they have their concerts up here, we've gone.
Mhm.
And I've talked to him, you know, and we've talked to his brother.
Johnny.
Yeah, he wanted the ID, and Mike told him, well, he would, you know, he would give it to him, and then he said, no, he decided to just let us have it, you know.
Oh, okay.
Now, we managed to save that, but the jacket, you know, our house just burned.
Yeah. I don't-
And, but we managed, we kept our pictures in a big old basket, and some of them we managed to save, and I think I've got some of those, you know. They kind of crispy around the edge,
Mhm.
you know. So,
Well, it's possible if you can like take them into, you know, somewhere and get them like reproduced for me. I will pay you whatever, you know, just tell me whatever it costs, and I will send you down the cash. Even before you send me the pictures, if you want, you know, that's fine, because this would help my thesis out a great deal.
yeah.
And a picture of Ronnie's ID card, if possible,
Yeah.
because he was my hero.
Now, Gene Odom,
Right.
he's been here before. Huh?
Apparently, yeah. I was talking to Dennis Wilson.
Yeah.
And he said that, yeah, Gene Odom was by about a year or two after the crash.
Yeah, he came to our house. Well, see, he had been in Memphis in the hospital up there.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother and sister and them came by. And they spent the day at the house, you know, because it's kind of a halfway point or something, you know. And we met him and all. But now the girl that is running the tickets and always lets us in at the concerts and everything, I think her husband was one that had gotten killed. Because, see, she knew Gene Odom and everything.
Yes.
She said she worked with him, or her husband did, before the crash.
Work with the band?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's working with this other band. You know, the Lynyrd Skynyrd band now. Because she's the one that always lets us in the concert.
Oh, okay.
But now, I can't even think, but she knows me, you know, but I can't ever think of her name.
Is she married?
Huh?
Is she married to one of the band members now?
I don't know if she is now, but she was with the original band.
She was with the original band.
Uh-huh.
Oh, then that would be Leslie Hawkins?
Yeah.
Oh. No?
I don't know.
Okay.
You know, but my husband's wanting to talk to you, but I'll get this for you.
I appreciate that very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
I found that sleeve of that jacket when it burned.
Yes?
The one that's got Lynyrd Skynyrd on it.
Oh.
It's burned all up. And I had it up the back of my truck and hauled it around for no telling how long. And I don't know whether I stuck it up here in some of these barns or something, or what I did with it. But if I can find that, I'll let you have it if you come down this way.
Oh, terrific. I would,
You know, it's burnt up, but I mean, like I said, it's got the, if you can find some pictures of it, it's got the Lynyrd Skynyrd, you know, the sleeve, you know, it's got Lynyrd Skynyrd on the one I found.
Okay. Terrific.
I tell you what, that, you know, I kept hanging on that ID card. I said, you know, whenever I found the stuff, none of the stuff I got was picked up. I mean, it was whenever we got down in that hole and poking around, I found that camera and that stuff. We just pulled that, I had took my tractor and pulled that stump back over. And that stuff was under a camera and that jacket. And I tell you, it was, have you seen the album cover, the one that had, that come out right before the
Street Survivors?
The Street Survivors?
Yes, I have it.
You notice that ball, I think it's a tall ball right in the center. It's got a little belt buckle on that's got looks like it's made out of brazen rod.
Yes, I got the album here.
It's got a piece of copper looking right in the center of it.
Yeah, that's Steve Gaines. Or, wait a minute. The guy is in the red shirt?
I think, well, my album burned up, see?
Oh, okay.
But now that little, it's a belt buckle. It's a little, looks like about, 3 inches long and about 1.5 inches, 2 inches high.
It's not, it's square, is it?
Yes, well, it's kind of square looking. It's a small buckle.
That was Steve Gaines' belt buckle.
But anyway, it's got it looks like it's, you know, it's got a little, it's got a little brown looking spot right in the center of it. And I have that belt buckle.
You have his belt buckle?
I got that belt buckle.
Wow, you have a treasure.
And I hate to, you know, it's been how many years now?
Oh, geez, it's 17 and a half.
And, you know, I've been making out like I was going to try to get in touch with somebody to try to find out how I could auction it off or do something with it. I mean,
well,
I'd love to see some fan, a real dedicated fan have it. You know, like I said,
you know, if you want to sell it, you just let me know. I mean,
or it's crashed and everything, you know, and I just, I don't know. Like I said, that, you know, it ought to be valuable, really.
Because I have ticket stubs from the last show they did in Greenville on October 19th.
They left there going to Baton Rouge.
Going to Baton Rouge. I have tickets for the show. They were supposed to play Toronto, Canada, November 14th, 1977. I have those tickets. I have one of Ronnie's shirts from the very early days of the band.
So a girl came up. Mr. Percy's house, his place. Well, when they brought the ambulance in, they had to come across his place to get down there before we would pack them across a little old creek and load them in the ambulances, take them to Magnolia to the hospital.
Right.
And they came on Mr. Percy's property. And his daughter came down there, and it was, you know, that black hat like he wore, that felt hat.
Yeah.
We never did pay any attention to it. She found that thing out there where it had been run over and squished flat. You know, she took it somewhere and had it, and that thing looked like a brand new his hat.
Ronnie's hat.
I mean, it was a black felt hat, and like I said, it had been run over and mashed and everything, and she picked that thing, you know, and I said, well, nobody didn't, you know, it laid there the whole time. But the day we got through cleaning up, was fixing to move out, she came down there and had that hat on. And about, it hadn't been but, it was just a matter of months after then, she got killed in the car.
Wow.
I don't know what became of the hat, you know. But, yeah, if you think, you know, I'll try to gather up some stuff and send you some pictures of, you know, thing. And
that'd be great. Like I will pay you for whatever the cost is, and if you ever want to sell that belt buckle of Steve Gaines,
I got Ronnie Van Zant's ID card and that belt buckle.
Well, I don't think you'd want to part with Roddy's ID card, would you?
Well, I don't know. That's what I said. You know, if I had any idea, you know, how to get in touch with somebody and you know, find out about what the thing was worth or something, you know. I mean, I wouldn't care if a bunch of them got together. You know, I thought one time about getting in touch with that Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah.
Seeing maybe, you know, if something like that would want to do anything. That's what I was going to do with the jacket and that blame house burnt.
Well.
But, I'll take, I'll try to get everything I had. And I had some pictures of whenever I had the jacket laid out on the bed and had the ID card and had the belt buckle and everything all there together. And like I said, if I can find the pictures, I think some of them was in my nightstand. If I can find them pictures, I'll sure send you a lot of it.
I appreciate that. That would help me out a great deal in the theses and whatnot, and just being a, dedicated fan, something to have,
Okay. If it's any way you can make it down this way or something, you can sure come by and I'll do what I can to help you on it.
That's amazing. Thank you very much. I'm going to make it down somehow, whether I got a hitchhiker or whatever.
See, I just live from the crash site. We don't live at about, it's probably through the woods. It's not but a couple miles. We have to go around this highway. It'll be about 4 or 5 miles. But heck, we saw the plane. We knew it was in trouble.
You saw the plane?
Yeah, but I mean, see, if that pilot would have just kept on, he was closer to Baton Rouge. He was trying to come back up here.
Trying to come back to Macomb.
Yeah, if he'd have just kept on going, he done got down below Clinton. And I mean, it's not just a matter of, probably 30 miles. I mean, he would have been better off trying to go on to Baton Rouge than he would trying to turn and come back north. I reckon they just never had,
I guess split split decision section, and
from all accounts, it made a couple big circles. They make out like people from Kentwood there or Florence,
Was it still, were the motors still going when you saw it? Like, could you hear it?
Oh yeah, we could hear it roar.
Oh.
I don't know. That's what I say. I reckon whenever they must, I don't know, they didn't go far enough north and turn, but they was headed back south whenever they crashed.
Wow.
So I reckon, it just ran out of fuel and glided far as it could have glided.
Yeah, there was, according to the FAA report, there was less than 1/4 of fuel left.
Oh, it was. I mean, that thing was dry. But now, if they would have been just a little bit further to the, I reckon it was further east, just a matter of a couple hundred yards, it wouldn't have been any way they could have landed out in that man's pasture,
Right.
But it would, as wet as it was, it would have fogged up, but it wouldn't have been near as bad as falling in them trees like it did. It was just a freak accident. That's all it was. I mean, if he'd have been just a couple hundred yards further east, they could have landed out in that field, and Mike would have saved them all. But like I said, I don't see how any of them survived like it was coming down in that night. It was a company land, so it was in timberland, what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Big pine tree forest is what it was.
Like, I can't, put in my mind exactly how close it was to the field and exactly what the plane looked like when it crashed, and hopefully if you send me some pictures, some copies and whatnot, and I get down there, I can get everything, like I said, I'm not just doing this for a thesis, I'm doing it also as a fan.
Okay. Well,
and
then when the plane came, it was headed back south whenever it crashed. You can see where it started hitting the tops of the pine trees, and the lower it got, it just started cutting the tip top out, and it just sheared them off, plumb on down to the ground. And it was a little branch about this little creek. It don't even run, but it'd been raining a lot, and it had water. And it was about, I reckon the plane itself fell within 75 yards of the little branch, and then just on the other side of the branch was a man's pasture about 75 yards out on the other side. It was just 150, 200 yards. They could have landed in that field and place falling in them trees like it did. But like I said, if it's any way you can make it,
I will.
I'm glad to help you with it. Like I said, I'm going to get what I can gather up, and I'll sure send you some information on it.
I appreciate everything you've done. Talk to me about and what you send me. Like I say, I'll pay you whatever whatever costs. Let me know, and I'll send you a check. And I hope to see you in the summer, and meet you and talk to you and find out exactly where it was, and you can explain what happened. And I mean, it's amazing.
A lot more of the boys that just about all of us still live right here around this Gilbert community, So we can go around and I'll introduce you to a bunch more of them.
Terrific.
But like I said, if you can, make it down, and we'll do what we can, and I'll sure get what I can gather up and send it to you.
Terrific. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, I reckon I better I got company in here, so I reckon
Oh.
we'll go in and entertain them a little bit.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Wilson. I can't thank you enough for the information you've given me.
Okay, we sure do appreciate it, and I'll do what I can for you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.